Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to another Dress for Success Twin Cities virtual lunch and learn. I am Anna Beach, the development director here, and we are coming to you live. Very excited. Today, we are going to focus on what defining your own path to success really means. And this is really important to us at Dress for Success Twin Cities because every woman who walks through our doors and utilizes our services, we believe deserves the opportunity to define that for herself. And so, what we do is when we're working with women, we don't say that there is a specific way that they need to be successful. We say that you get to choose that, and we're going to work alongside you and support you and figure out how we can empower you to find that success for yourself. So, today's Lunch and Learn, we'll be talking with Megan Miley, our program director, shortly, and she will be explaining how our career coaching and other programs really highlight this value. We'll also be joined by a couple lovely women who have utilized our services and have really paved the way and created their own path to success. We'll have Sharon, who is the owner of West Indies Soul Food, and she has just grown her business in incredible ways that we'll talk about. She's participating in the State Fair Food Parade this year. She got a space at the Allianz Field once things are in person again, and her company is also distributing at different grocers. And then Pacha will also be with us, and she's a program manager here at Dress for Success Twin Cities. And she has made a huge shift. She came to our organization last year. She interned for us, and previous to that, she was in the medical laboratory field for over 10 years. So she made quite the change, and then we hired her on to our team at the beginning of 2020. So that being said, we have a lot in store for you today. And first, I'm going to have Megan Miley join us and share a little bit more about how our individualized coaching sessions and programs really promote this concept of defining your own path to success. Megan, come on in. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Anna.
Hello,
everyone. Thanks for inviting me on today.
Yeah, so Megan joined as program director at the beginning of 2019, and really you have solidified how our services are truly client-centered. So thanks for joining me, and I'm excited to chat with you.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yay. So first, before we dive into really what defining your own path to success is, can you explain to me what a career coach appointment really entails?
You bet. Happy to do that. So when a client reaches out to Dress for Success Twin Cities for services or is referred to us through a community partner agency, initially we have a career coach call them directly at home to do what we call an intake call and to find out about what their personal and professional goals are. And sometimes in job search, we're not always sure exactly what our goals are. So the intake process serves as both information gathering to figure out what a client needs and what challenges they're encountering, and helps to help them set the goals for their job search. Mm-hmm. So that's the first step, is doing a quick intake. It can take 20, 30 minutes. We're getting to know you and what you need. And then the second step is to you're set up to attend a service overview session where you're doing even deeper goal setting personally about what you need, what your lifestyle needs are, how you personally define success for yourself, and truly how you envision your life being in 90 days. So we spend a lot of time talking about what does my life look like 3 months from today. So we always try to visualize, for instance, in 3 months, it will be November 13th. What does that look like? What is the weather like? What's going on? How do you want things to be for yourself, for the world? And so we spend some time with visualization during that service overview session. And then we do talk about all the different services that Dress for Success provides, including our Professional Intelligence series, which is a series of 10 classes rooted in the concept of emotional intelligence and gaining more self-awareness and better understanding how our, what our mood is, how we're feeling, why we're feeling that way, and how we can truly empower ourselves to do the best we can do, and to reach out for community resources and assistance and building our network of support. Because at the end of the day, the ability to build up your network of support is what will help you succeed in your job search and being successful in the job. So after the service overview, then you are eligible for a business attire appointment to help continue building your confidence. And what we do is we have our career coaches reach back out to you for 1-hour sessions. Those coaches are truly talking to you and helping you as best they can and coaching you with your individual needs. If you need help creating or updating your resume, your cover letter, if you need any kind of assistance with job search strategy and creating a LinkedIn profile, and then getting you ready to do salary and benefit negotiations and so forth. So everybody's, job search is very different. Everybody's history is different. And so with those career coaches, we're really customizing your experience and trying to help you any way we can. And then we ask our career coaches to reach out to all clients about once a month and see how they're doing and how we can assist. So we have a very high touch model of service and really keep people as engaged as they can and want to be.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, what really sticks out to me that makes me feel like it's so tangible, when people, like when you're going into a job interview, a lot of the times they'll be like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But that can seem really heavy and really hard to visualize, like you were saying. So the 3 months.
Even the psychics don't know where we're going right now.
Right. So that's awesome.
Yeah, 5 years is a long time. But if we can talk about 3 months, we can talk about tangible steps we can take on a daily basis to get there. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So can you go a little bit deeper and tell me, like, how are these coaches, how have you provided coaches the platform to really be able to individualize these appointments? Because we have over 350 women utilizing these services on a yearly basis.
Yeah, great question. So with COVID-19, we have had to pivot. We've had to refocus our services to be remote. So previously, the model had been primarily in-person appointments and then phone calls if needed based on clients' barriers, transportation or childcare barriers to those coaching sessions, to now being completely remote. And so our coaches will call on the phone primarily, but they also will do Zoom or Google Meet or video platform coaching sessions. And we do have, a lot of our clients do have interviews that are via video conference. So we'll do practice interviews to help them prepare, for instance, their background space and making sure that they have a true professional impression that they're giving when they're doing interviews remotely. So that's how we're implementing the career coaching at this point. And we do have a number of volunteers that help us with that. We have volunteers typically starting with check-in calls. They will call and find out how a client is doing. And then we do have a core of career coaches, and we are onboarding a lot more career coaches as we anticipate a flood of clients coming in the next few months due to high unemployment and unemployment insurance programs running out after their set amount of time. So we are onboarding career coaches right now, and we have peer consultation groups where those coaches can support and lift each other up, and then we do some training around resumes, cover letters, and practice interviews and so forth.
That's fantastic. And so part of all of these career coaching sessions are really figuring out what each woman's path to success really looks like to them, and how why is this so important?
That is it so important for our clients to determine their own path to success? Is that your question there? Okay, it's a great question. I think that's a big piece of what women in particular are up against, is sorting out what is this concept, this notion of success and the path to success. And, you know, for most of us, that path to success has been fairly prescripted in that, you know, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job, you get a promotion, you stay in that job, and then eventually you retire. And most, if not all of us, especially individuals who don't have as much support, if you have children, if you have any type of medical issues, any kind of disabilities, is that path to success is just not that linear. It's not that vertical. Most of us have a much more horizontal path, and it's very swirly. I use the image of a river in my mind, because sometimes that path to success really is filled with some hardships and some major challenges that don't allow us to move up the ladder. And another metaphor is, you know, it's hard to move up the ladder when you're missing actual rungs, right? It takes so much more effort and abilities that we don't always have, especially with the barriers I talked about. And pretty much all of our women come to service and have had barriers at one time or another, or at present. And so that's why it's so important that we look at each individual and that they personally define success for themselves, and keep society out of that. It's like, what, you know, the messages we hear in school about what success looks like, those micro messages that are in advertisements, commercials, movies, all of that. What truly does success look like for you? Where are you passionate, and what are your lifestyle needs? And sometimes it's not an easy match. And so our career coaches really try to meet clients where they're at today and what they need, and then build in and help build in opportunities for advancement. And a big part of that is increasing your network and your connections. And so we have opportunities like currently it's virtual Day of Success. We're connecting with wonderful organizations that have hiring opportunities at this time, and creating that platform for true personalized success.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for explaining that a little bit more. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things about our organization is that we see every person who walks through our door as an individual, because we all have different experiences, different dreams. So thank you again for coming on and sharing your expertise and explaining a little bit more about what our client-centered programming really looks like. So thanks again, Megan.
Thank you, Anna.
Thanks,
everyone. Yeah. Bye.
I know that, especially right now, with all the hardships and struggles that many of the women we serve are facing due to COVID and the issues around racial justice, it's just, as I was mentioning, it's so important for a woman to be seen as an individual. So next, we will be talking to Sharon. Very excited. I'm so proud and honored that she's willing to come with and talk about her story a little bit today. So I'd love to introduce Sharon to you guys. She is the owner. Hello! She's the owner of West Indies Soul Food. Oh, 1 second. I think we need to unmute you still.
Okay.
Oh, I hear you. You're good. We're good now.
Okay. How are you doing?
Welcome. I'm great. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. I have to use my phone. My computer is not getting me on, so I'm going to be on my phone for a little bit.
Oh, great. That's no worries.
Yeah.
I know that, you know, especially this year is so weird. I know going to the bazaar and visiting your booth was like one of my favorite things at the state fair, but I'm so glad you're going to be in the food parade.
Yes, I'm excited. We went and looked at our spot on Monday, last Tuesday, and it was, I'm excited. A little bit nervous, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole new world, isn't it? Wow.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I'm excited for you to share with me a little bit more about about West Indies Soul Food, how it started and how you've gotten to this huge success that you have.
Well, I was listening to Megan and she was talking about sometimes the road gets a little bit bumpy. And for me, it did for a little bit. West Indies Soul Food started with two couples who wasn't real satisfied with the quality and the quantity food they were getting for the price they were paying, which was over 38 years ago. And I was one of the couples, and we decided to open a catering service. And then the catering service turned into a restaurant. And got a little bit bumpy along the way, and had to shut everything down for a little bit for about a couple years. And then I had my grandson. I had to take care of my grandson, and that's how I got in contact with Dress for Success. After I had to take care of my grandson and shut my business down, I was enrolled in Dress for Success, and then I was in the professional intelligence class with Deborah Sanders, and she's an amazing woman. She just had me going, and this is one of the reasons I am where I am right now because of Deb. After we graduated from the class, I still kept in contact with Deb, talking to Deb, and this summer Deb said, "You know what, Sharon? I have some free time this summer. I'm going to help you grow your business." Because I'm located in a high school and my contract is to cook for high schoolers, 150 kids. When I started here, it was 45 kids, and now we're up to 150 kids. And then all of a sudden, COVID set in, school got shut down, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And was kind of talking to Deb, and then I remember in the class, she talked about being resilient. And I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do here. So I had talked to the founder of the school and some of the director and asked them, what can I do? Can I use the school? They say, yeah, sure, go ahead. Because the students are not here. You can use the school. And then we turn it into a curbside pickup, which is amazingly just growing. It's just growing and growing, and I'm real happy. I'm really, really happy that it's growing. I didn't know how it would have been because I keep hearing people say, think outside the box, move outside the box, be resilient, do this, do that. I'm like, this is a lot of information here for me to process. I'm not a restaurant. I'm a catering service. How can I turn a catering service into a restaurant? And I also work with Meta, and they help me kind of get my financials going and stuff. And this is where I'm at right now. We're getting ready to serve lunch. We do Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. We do curbside. So people order online and they come and pick their lunch or their dinner up. And it's been going good.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to hear that. It makes me
Yes.
so happy. That's
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes.
So what would you, kind of the different steps you took? You started a business, it didn't go well, and then West Indies Soul Food happened. Like, so how did you get from A to B? Oops, I lost her. One second.
Okay, we got disconnected for a minute. Okay,
There we
I
go.
came to Dress for Success, and I was in the class, and I have to laugh about it now because I had some of the cohorts in the class told me that a lot of times they would just hear my hands just beating on the desk, and Deb said I'll be just beating on the desk because I'm taking in the information and I'm trying to process it, and then I'm a little bit upset with how my life was going and how things was going, and I'm just taking it out on the desk. And three of my goals was one was to purchase a home, one was to purchase a car, and the other one was to get my business to the next level. I purchased my home 3 years ago after I graduated from Dress for Success. So I'm in my house for 3 years. I purchased my car the same year. That was scary. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm doing all this. I purchased a home, now I purchased a car. And then I was at my job at St. Thomas because when I took custody of my grandson and I had to work, I got a job at St. Thomas through the YWCA, and I had my booth at the state fair, and this guy came up to me and asked me, he said, "Would you like to cater for our kids. And I was like, cater for the kids? I'm like, yeah. But while I was at St. Thomas, I'm like, why am I here? This is not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing school stuff. I'm not doing college stuff. I'm a caterer. When I went to St. Thomas, they had 800 students eating in the Anderson building. When I left, there was 1,400 eating. The students used to tell me on a Saturday when I'm there cooking, come out and take a bow. They like how the food tastes. So I'm like, okay, good, cool, cool. So when the founder of HSRA asked me to come out and serve lunch and use the school to do my catering, I came to the school, and when I looked at it and I saw what the kids were eating, I was like, no, I can't have these kids eating this kind of food. No. This is not healthy. This doesn't even look appetizing. At that time, I think they had between 35 or 45 kids eating. Now we up to 150 kids. So I did a lot in 3 years, and I still kind of pinch myself to make sure that I'm still alive and it's real. I just keep being resilient. I keep applying the things I learned from the class. I know I'll be texting Deb, and I was like, Deb, I have a lot this week. She said, okay, chunk it down one at a time, breathe, breathe. And I'm like, I'm breathing, but I still ain't doing anything. I'm breathing. So a lot of times people say, why you breathe so much and why you breathe so heavy? I catch myself just, breathing. And you would think breathing is just like, no, but it's how you take your breaths. We was taught to hold it in for 3, count to 3, let it out, count to 3. So it was a process. And a lot of things we take in life so simple, and it's not simple. It's something we have to put effort at, something we have to think about. We have to put a plan together. And I learned all that through Dress for Success. So I am very happy. I ask myself all the time, and I ask Deb, I say, why this isn't, taught to more people, like start from high school. If you teach this to the high schoolers, then you wouldn't have a lot of us trying to play catch up at the age of like 20 or 30. So Dress for Success to me is amazing. It helped me get to where I'm at. I appreciate you guys. Even my suits. I go there and I come out and people look at me and where did you get that suit? I'm like, Dress for Success. We have Dress for Success. Is that a new store? I'm like, no, it's a program. So not only that I got the education, I got the inspiration, I got the help. I also got where I can make myself look as professional as I need to, or I can dress down as I need to. So I'm happy. I'm grateful.
You're doing amazing things. It's incredible.
Yes,
Oh my
thank
God.
you. Thank you. And I would like to tell people, don't give up. Don't ever, ever give up. Because even with my sources, when I first got the vision with my sources, I got excited. I created my sources, and I had all these sources. And that was in 2012, and I had to really push to sell my sources. It didn't get in stores till 2015. So I had the vision, but I didn't have the timing. I just rushed to do stuff. So sometimes we have a vision, and sometimes the timing may not be right. So we just have to keep going till the timing becomes the same as the vision.
Yeah, that's awesome. Never give up. I love that, Sharon.
Never
Thank you
give up.
so
No.
much
Yes.
for sharing with me and giving me a chunk of your time before lunch.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and I'll
Yes.
talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. Have a
Bye,
good day.
Sharon. You
Okay.
too.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Next, we will be having Pacha join us. She first came to our organization about a year ago, and she attended our professional intelligence series. She soon became an intern at our organization, and then at the beginning of 2020, she was hired on as a program manager. So 2020 does have something good in it. Before that, though, she had spent over 10 years as a medical laboratory scientist. So Pacha, come on in. I'm excited to chat with you. Hi.
Hi, Anna.
Welcome. Thanks so much for coming today. This is great. So, first, before I really dive into your path to success, would you be willing to, explain to people what a medical laboratory scientist is and does?
Yes. I am a medical laboratory scientist. I have a bachelor's degree in clinical lab science. Medical laboratory scientists, we're kind of a hidden profession. So we work in the laboratories of medical clinics and hospitals.
Yeah.
We test blood and body fluids. So when you collect your urine specimen, or a blood sample is drawn, or a swab is swabbed to determine if there's infection, all of that comes to us, and we process and test the specimens. We find results, and we communicate that to the doctors, and doctors make their medical diagnoses and decisions based um, on what we report out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining. I appreciate that. So now let's dive into the fun stuff. So Pacha, would you share with us what initially made you switch paths from that to working at a nonprofit?
Yeah, I was coming up to my 10-year anniversary of being a medical laboratory scientist, and I had some health issues, so I had to take off work for a little bit, and that time was extremely helpful. I did a lot of soul searching. I came to the realization that who I was 10 years ago is not necessarily who I am today. Growing up, being a child of refugees and immigrants, there was a lot of emphasis on education and careers in the sciences and the healthcare field, especially because they're higher income paying jobs. So there was a lot of emphasis on that growing up. So during that break I had, I realized that I actually went online and Googled values, and I wrote out from the list, I wrote out my 10 values, and I really allowed that to anchor me in what I wanted to do next. So to answer your I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. You figured out who you really wanted to be. And a lot changes in 10 years, so that makes a lot of sense. So once you kind of determined that you wanted to make that shift, how did you begin to make that transition?
I would say like baby steps, taking little steps, just keeping an eye out for something that might be attractive. So I emailed, I thought at one point that I wrote a list of things that I might be, careers that I might be interested in that aligns with my values, and, being maybe an insurance agent, or being a realtor, or being a college counselor, aligned with that. So I emailed anyone and everyone I knew. I set up little meet and greets, talk to people. The best advice I would give is to actually follow someone for a day. And so that was extremely helpful in that it clarified even more what jobs I didn't want to do. Yes, and volunteering is, even if it's 2 hours a week, it can help you. It can be such a great asset to you. You're able to not commit to an organization, but kind of get to see what they're about. And I found Dress for Success, which this organization wanted to empower women, and I was like, that is what I want to do, is empower women, empower people in my community to achieve economic independence through employment. So I contacted Dress for Success, and I became a volunteer and a client.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you. So what is someone who is kind of feeling hopeless, but what is something you would tell them about finding success?
Let's see. Someone feeling hopeless, I would say that if you can take that first step to step out of feeling isolated, that is probably the biggest first step, the biggest deal for me is to step out of my space where I had ruminating thoughts about my skills and what my skill sets can only do. Because once you step out of that and you network, I did that a lot at Dress for Success. And especially with a career coach, I'm able to rename skills. And a lot of the times when you work in a certain atmosphere or a specific career, you're limited to using certain skills. But the truth is, if you get practice doing other skills, or if you rename skills, you're actually quite qualified to do lots of other things that you don't know that you can. So it's nice to have a career coach. It's nice to have other women around you that point things out that you in seclusion or in isolation don't. I will give an example. I didn't consider myself to be very tech savvy at all. However, being a volunteer at Dress for Success, I found out that that was not the case. Yep, that's an example. So I would say to not feel helpless, you need to find support. And everyone, no matter who they are, need support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Pata, and for joining us and sharing your winding path of success with us today. We appreciate it, and I'm so happy to have you on board. Lovely. I'll talk to you later. One of my favorite things about Dress for Success Twin Cities is that when a woman walks through our doors and we ask her, what are your goals and dreams? Even if she says, I want to be an astrophysicist, we have zero doubt, zero judgment, no lack of confidence. We say, all right, we're here to support you and create a plan to get there. And that is just the most beautiful thing about this organization. So as we wrap up today, I want to ensure that we keep the conversation around racial justice going. Last week, we hosted a diversity, equity, and inclusion panel with a few Dress for Success Twin Cities alumni. And if you're interested, you can go find that on our YouTube channel. We also have some resources from community partners that I'd be happy to share with you and post in the comments. Lastly, I want to remind you that the recommended donation for our virtual lunch and learn is $10, and you can use the text to donate code below, or you can visit the ticket link in the event page. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We will see you next month.